Hi, folks. Wow. I don't know what to say. I just want to speak to you from my heart today as I see things unfolding in the world. I'm grieved, and not just what's happening down in the States with the riots and the racist theme that's going on there. In my own home province of BC, people are um, vandalizing cars from out of province and with no idea of whether those cars are legitimately there or not. And it just seems to me like we've got a bigger problem going on here than a virus, than someone being killed unjustly by a cop and so on. I think we are seeing a spiritual battle evolving in front of our eyes. It's a battle between ideologies, it's a battle between morals, between, um, darkness and light, good and evil. And I want to talk a little bit about propaganda. Propaganda, the word has a bit of a negative slant to it, but at the end of the day, it's basically to propagate an agenda. Christianity wouldn't exist without propaganda. That's how Christianity spreads. People talking about, people saying things, people writing things um, with an agenda. And the agenda, of course, for Christians early on, and hopefully still to some degree today, is to get people saved by God, to bring them back into relationship with Jesus Christ. But propaganda is used in every aspect of society to propagate agendas, and we're seeing it today in a very well, I would say sinister way. Like if you look at the different news organizations, whether it's conservative or whether it's liberal or whatever, there is this verbal violence that's happening that is so breaking apart unity in our society, in our world. And we are becoming so divided, so antagonistic, and now, frankly, violent toward each other, as if we are our own enemies. And, who wants that? Who wants that? Satan wants that. There is a battle going on between Satan and God right now. You look at all of the issues that are causing the biggest problems in our society, and I just can't think of any that doesn't lead back to this battle between, what is right, what is wrong, what is biblical morality, what is godlike versus Satan. What are the things that are eroding our society because we've forgotten God? I've heard so many people talk about that during all of this, is that, you know, our society has forgotten God. And when you forget God, He helps you remember Him. And that's my greatest fear. I think we need to forget about racism, because in God's economy, there is no such thing as racism. We are all created equal in His eyes. There is no Jew, there is no Gentile, there is no male, there is no female, there is no slave, there is no free. All people are the same. And as long as we continue to blame and make this about blacks or whites or Hispanics or Asians or whatever the case might be, we are just fueling Satan's fire. Do you understand that? Wherever there is hatred, wherever there is anger, wherever there is a lack of forgiveness, wherever there is selfishness and pride, that is not of God. Where there's a need for power over people, that is not from God. That is Satan's agenda. And his agenda is to kill and murder and steal and break people apart, to destroy societies, and to help people to forget God and to believe that God actually can't help you. Right? I think you would see, if you really investigated Christian principles, the biblical principles of how society can work. And what are those principles? Where did we even come up with the idea of equality? It isn't from our teaching about evolution. I mean, Darwin's writings were incredibly racist. that white people were superior. And that's what's being fed to us in schools. This whole idea of people against people, that is not a biblical concept. That is a construct that we've created, and we need to get rid of it. But the only way that's going to happen is if people repent and return to God. And I'm telling you, everybody's going to laugh at that, right? If you don't believe that, well, that's fine. I'm not asking you to believe. I'm just telling you that that's my opinion. And we've tried a lot of things over the last couple thousand years to try to fix mankind, to try to... Every society, every great culture that has faded away into oblivion, it started with the erosion of family, with the erosion of biblical morality, with the erosion of having some sort of authority outside of ourselves that is higher than us. And right now, to me, that's what we see, is that there is no authority. Right is right and wrong is wrong in your own eyes. So it's right for me to go and burn down businesses because there's a few racist cops, because I have been so oppressed over time. And I'm not saying that people haven't been oppressed. I have black friends. I have Asian friends. I have people, and I know that in our society, they experience it differently than us whites do. We do have privilege, but I have a feeling that comes more from the teachings of evolution than it comes from anything else. But what I want to say about that is, we're excusing criminal, angry behavior because those people have it bad. And again, I don't want to minimize that, but even a lot of those people who are feeling oppressed, it's like someone murders someone and they blame it on the fact that they had a horrible childhood. Nobody is going to say that their childhood wasn't horrible, that they deserved to be treated the way they were, right? Like, nobody would say that, but we would all draw the line at using that as an excuse to murder someone, right? And so I just think we need to be reminded of what morality is. If this is about value of life, whether it be the COVID thing, whether it be the racist thing, whatever it might be, injustice, all of that, if that's what it is, then us who are protesting that and who don't want to see that should not be doing the same thing. We're just feeding the fire. And so, my prayer right now, and people are going to think whatever they're going to think about this, but I just needed to say it, and I'm just asking people to consider the idea that maybe God is real and maybe He is right. If He did indeed create us, which, of course, that's what we've been taught isn't true for, the last 150 years, but if He did, would He not have the best blueprint for how we could live in unity, in peace, in prosperity? Everyone, every human, because we are one family. We are one human race. There are no races. There's different colored people. It's like saying birds aren't birds if they're blue. Come on, we're humans. And we should all be treated equally. We should all have the same rights. We should all have the same privileges. I agree. But folks, the problem is not individuals. The problem isn't really even a problem of the flesh. It's a spiritual problem. And if that's the case, I'm just asking you to consider that. If that's the case, maybe, just maybe, there's a spiritual solution that we are avoiding. Yeah, thanks for hearing my rant. And please be praying. That's the key. Where's the power going to come from? Let's be praying for unity, for God to intervene, for Him to be seen and heard by all people, and that He may bring all of this stuff that's happening in our world to an end.